There's something hauntingly captivating about photos taken right before disaster strikes, a moment frozen in time, just seconds away from chaos. Whether it's a natural catastrophe or an unexpected event, these images give us a glimpse into a world on the brink. Today, we'll dive into some of history's most chilling moments, captured just before everything came crashing. You'll be shocked by the last image. Here are 34 photos taken right before disasters. Hilda Clayton's last photograph. The United States Army recently shared an image that stands as both a tribute and a tragedy. It's the final photograph taken by combat photographer Hilda Clayton, capturing the very moment of the mortar blast that claimed her life. On 2nd July 2013, during a live fire training exercise in Afghanistan, Clayton documented the instant of devastation as a mortar exploded prematurely. The harrowing photo shows the chaos of that fateful moment. This image is more than a snapshot. It's a powerful reminder of the dangers faced by military photographers in the line of duty. Snowboarding down Everest. This is the last photo taken of snowboarder Marco Siffredi before his daring descent down Mount Everest in 2002. Tragically, his body was never found after he rode down the treacherous slopes. The talented snowboarder had already reached the peak of the world's tallest mountain in 2001, aiming to ride all the way down. However, poor snow conditions thwarted his plans. Determined to conquer Everest's Hornbein Couloir the following year, Siffredi made the arduous journey from Tibet base camp. Despite the dangers, he pressed forward, driven by his dream of becoming the first snowboarder to complete the descent. His fate remains a mystery, as his tracks were lost to the harsh mountain weather, and his body was never recovered. Balloon Priest. This image captures Adelier Antonio de Carli, widely known as the Balloon Priest, just moments before his ill-fated adventure. Adelier's mission was both ambitious and selfless, raising funds for a spiritual rest stop for truck drivers in Brazil. To achieve this, he planned a daring flight using a chair attached to thousands of helium-filled balloons. His vision was to soar high into the sky, flying for over 19 hours to inspire and generate support. However, what began as a heartfelt mission ended tragically. Lacking GPS experience, Adelier ascended to an astonishing altitude of 19,000 feet before losing contact with the ground. Equipped with supplies for a 5-day journey, he eventually vanished. Nearly 3 months later, his remains were discovered in the vast expanse of the ocean. Final hours of volcanologist David A. Johnston. Captured just 13 hours before the disaster, this haunting photograph shows volcanologist David A. Johnston stationed at the Coldwater 2 observation post. With Mount St. Helens looming in the background, Johnston was positioned to monitor the volcano's activity. But on 18 May 1980, everything changed. When the north side of the mountain collapsed in a catastrophic landslide, it triggered a massive lateral blast, directly in the path of Johnston's post. The eruption unleashed an unstoppable wave of ash, rock, and debris, obliterating everything in its wake. Johnston's final words, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it," became a lasting reminder of his bravery. Confrontation at Delhi Zoo. In this chilling photograph, an Indian schoolboy is seen face-to-face with a white tiger inside its enclosure at the Delhi Zoo in New Delhi on 23 September 2014. The moment, captured by Delhi police, shows the dangerous and tense situation as the tiger stares down the young boy. Despite efforts from onlookers to distract the tiger, Khan was attacked and mauled. The incident highlights the risks involved in interacting too closely with wild animals. Heart-stopping moment. On a sunny day in Lebanon, wedding photographer Mahmoud Naqib embarked on capturing the joyful moments of a newlywed couple's celebration. However, little did he know that his camera would soon document a tragedy that would alter lives forever. As Naqib focused on filming bride Isra Sablani by the waterfront, a devastating explosion shook the city with force. In just 1 second, the sky turned black, Naqib recalled, describing the sheer terror of the moment. His chilling footage quickly spread across social media, offering a harrowing look at the disaster as it unfolded. Amidst the chaos, Naqib's primary concern shifted to his family's safety as he fought to escape the destruction. Stunt gone wrong. This haunting photograph captures daredevil Robert Overacker just moments before his fatal plunge over Niagara Falls. His audacious mission was to raise awareness for the homeless through a daring stunt that combined jet skiing and parachuting. The plan was straightforward: ride a jet ski over the falls and deploy a parachute to safely glide to the bottom. Initially, everything seemed to go as planned. He made the descent with confidence. However, as onlookers anxiously watched, a sense of dread swept through the crowd when Robert's parachute failed to open. The silence that followed was overwhelming as he plummeted toward the water below. Crash in Paris. The death of Princess Diana sent shockwaves around the world. The picture shows Diana with her partner, Dodi Fayed, driver Henri Paul, and bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones trying to escape the relentless paparazzi when the car they were in crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. The crash resulted in the deaths of all on board, except for Rees-Jones, who survived with severe injuries. While Dodi Fayed's father claimed the crash was orchestrated by the Duke of Edinburgh, investigations revealed that driver Henri Paul was intoxicated and speeding, with the blame ultimately falling on his reckless actions. Hot air balloon crash. Hot air balloon rides provide stunning views, but the associated risks are considerable, especially at high altitudes. In 2012, New Zealand experienced its ballooning disaster in Carterton, a tragedy etched into the nation's memory. The disaster occurred during the descent when the balloon veered dangerously close to power lines. Faced with the peril, the pilot opted to climb higher rather than activate the rapid descent system. Unfortunately, the balloon struck the power lines, igniting a fiery crash. The event left a lasting impact on the local community and highlighted the dangers of ballooning at high altitudes. Walrus attack at Yashanko Wildlife Zoo. In 2016, a man named Jia made a fateful decision to take a selfie with a walrus at the Yashanko Wildlife Zoo in Weihai, China. What was meant to be a lighthearted moment quickly turned into a nightmare. While snapping a few photos, the walrus unexpectedly attacked, using its powerful jaws to grab Jia and take him into his enclosure. In a desperate attempt to save him, an animal keeper with 10 years of experience jumped in. Unfortunately, both Jia and the brave keeper lost their lives in a heartbreaking encounter with the walrus. Last stunt of Kashin. Kashin, a celebrated Russian parkour enthusiast, gained recognition for his fearless and daring performances. In July 2013, he attempted an ambitious backflip on the rooftop of a 16-story building. However, mid-trick, he lost his balance and tragically fell to his demise. A haunting photograph taken by his friend captures Kashin's mid-flip, just moments before the accident. In the aftermath, Kashin's parents made the difficult decision to share the image publicly, hoping to raise awareness about the inherent risks of parkour and the importance of safety in extreme stunts. The tragic Andes survival. The story of Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 is one of the most haunting in history. Traveling from Uruguay to Chile, the plane crashed in the Andes, with this chilling photo taken moments before the disaster. Out of the 45 passengers and crew, 33 survived initially, but that number quickly dropped to just 16 as injuries and the harsh cold took their toll. After 10 days, the search for survivors was called off due to severe weather. Faced with survival, the remaining passengers made the unimaginable decision to resort to cannibalism. After 72 grueling days, 2 of the men managed to find help, eventually leading to the rescue of the remaining survivors. Ronaldo Dagsa's final moment. In a harrowing turn of events, Filipino politician Ronaldo Dagsa inadvertently captured his own attacker moments before a tragic incident unfolded. It was New Year's Day, and Dagsa was enjoying a family celebration when he decided to take a photo of his wife and children. As the picture was being taken, a man suddenly appeared behind him, brandishing a gun. Before anyone could react, Dagsa was shot. The chilling image, which captures the fleeting moment of danger, remains a haunting reminder of the vulnerability of everyday life and the unpredictability of violence. Final moments in Alaska. In a deeply unsettling incident, the final moments of a couple's lives were captured during a bear attack in the remote Alaskan wilderness. Timothy Treadwell, famously known as the Grizzly Man, and his girlfriend Amy Huguenard lost their lives while on a camping trip. Timothy had spent 13 summers living among wild brown bears, forming a unique bond with the creatures. However, their final moments were recorded on his camera in October 2003, a haunting reminder of the dangers they faced in the untamed wilderness. Windmill hug. 4 engineers were doing routine maintenance on a wind turbine in Holland. Then, Disaster struck without warning. Suddenly, a fire broke out at the top of the structure, trapping 2 engineers with no means of escape. Haunting photograph taken in those final moments shows the pair. They are embracing tightly, clinging to each other as they face a tragic, uncertain fate. The situation is intense. Their expressions show their fear and helplessness. Despite the dire circumstances, the human connection provided some measure of comfort in their last moments. Last performance. The final photo of Ali Khan Samsudin shows him with a large king cobra, a fitting tribute to his life devoted to handling dangerous snakes and scorpions. Known as the Snake King, Samsudin had captivated audiences with his fearless performances over the last 25 years. Tragically, Samsudin passed away after being bitten by a king cobra during a show in Kuala Lumpur on Tuesday. Despite previous encounters with venomous snakes, this bite proved fatal. As Samsudin's condition deteriorated, he was rushed to the hospital. His passing marks the end of a remarkable career. His son, Amjad Khan, vowed to continue his father's legacy, dedicating his life to the family's generational craft. The McQuilkin brothers. This now famous photo, taken near Morro Rock in Sequoia National Park on 20 August 1975, captured Michael and Shaw McQuilkin with their hair standing on end. A clear warning sign of an impending lightning storm. Unaware of the imminent danger, both brothers were struck but miraculously survived. There were over 91 lightning fatalities that year, and we've since come a long way in lightning safety awareness. Always remember, should you be caught in a thunderstorm, find shelter immediately. Flight 235. TransAsia Airways. Flight 235 was meant to be a routine domestic flight in Taiwan, but it quickly turned into a harrowing ordeal. Just 2 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft suffered a catastrophic engine failure at an altitude of 17,000 feet. In a tragic error, the pilots accidentally shut off the functioning engine, leaving the plane without power. The aircraft lost altitude rapidly, striking a bridge and a taxi on the ground, injuring 2 people. It ultimately plunged into the Keelung River below, resulting in a devastating crash that claimed the lives of numerous passengers and crew members. Final moments of Paul Walker. Paul Walker's death wasn't just a tragedy. It was a moment that stopped millions in their tracks. Known and loved for his role in Fast and Furious, Paul was at the top of his game when the unthinkable happened. On that fateful day, a camera caught Paul stepping into a Porsche Carrera GT with his close friend, Roger Rodas. The car sped through the streets of California, reaching 80 mph. Moments later, it crashed into a tree and burst into flames. Heartbreaking reports suggest Paul may have survived the initial impact, but couldn't escape the fire. At just 40 years old, the world lost a talent far too soon. Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. In 1986, the world was filled with anticipation as 7 brave astronauts, including a schoolteacher poised to inspire students, boarded the Space Shuttle Challenger for a mission to deploy a satellite to study Halley's Comet. The atmosphere was electric with excitement as the crew waved to the cheering crowds, oblivious to the impending tragedy. Just 73 seconds into the flight, Challenger suffered a catastrophic failure, breaking apart in midair. This was the first fatal accident involving a U.S. spacecraft. All 7 crew members lost their lives, leaving the world in shock and mourning the devastating loss. Final image of Saman Gunan. This is the last image of Saman Gunan. He was a brave former Thai Navy SEAL. Tragically, he lost consciousness and died while delivering air tanks to 12 boys and their coach trapped in the flooded Tam Luang Cave in 2018. A massive international effort was launched to rescue them. Saman volunteered for this dangerous mission to provide life-saving supplies. His selfless courage during the perilous operation became a symbol of heroism. Even though he was off-duty and retired, Saman returned to help with this high-stakes rescue. His bravery marked a defining moment of heroism. Photo captures tragic lion attack. A chilling photo shows a lioness perched on the window of an SUV just moments before tragedy struck. Catherine Chappelle rolled down her window to snap a closer shot of the animal during a safari. Without warning, the lion lunged through the open window. It grabbed her in a devastating attack. As chaos erupted, the fearless safari guide sprang into action. He risked his life to save Chappelle. He repeatedly punched the lioness in the face, desperately trying to fend it off. Eyewitness Ben Govender described the horrifying scene, which left everyone shaken. Heroic act ends in tragedy. In May 2013, Casey Rivara tragically lost his life in Rocklin, California, while assisting a family of ducks to cross the road. Driving his children home from swim practice, Rivara spotted a mother duck and her ducklings struggling to navigate the street. He parked his car and stepped out to lend a hand. Tragically, a teenage driver struck Rivara before he could escape. He passed away at the scene. Witnesses first showed their support for Rivara with applause and cheers, but it soon became silent. Explosion disaster that shocked the world. On 12 November 1970, a quiet town in Oregon found itself at the center of a bizarre and unforgettable event. A massive 8-ton whale had washed ashore. City officials decided to solve the problem by detonating it with a half-ton of dynamite. Their intention? To send the remains out to sea. However, what unfolded was far from what anyone expected. Instead of being blown into the ocean, huge chunks of whale blubber rained onto the beach. It left a mess that no one could have anticipated. The chaotic scene was caught on film, making it an enduring and ridiculous piece of viral history. Last selfie. For Savannah Webster, Kelsey, and Essa Ricker, a seemingly innocent selfie turned into a heartbreaking tragedy. The 3 teenagers were posing on train tracks. Savannah even posted a final message on social media about standing by the train, calling it awesome. Moments later, the reality of their situation became horrifyingly clear. 2 trains struck Kelsey and Essa. The investigation found that the disaster unfolded in seconds. It left Savannah and the community devastated by the loss. The tragic event reminds us of the dangers of trespassing on railway tracks. Surviving the unthinkable. A chilling photograph captured the immediate moment before a man was attacked by a 4-meter great white shark near Port Macquarie. Toby Begg was surfing at Lighthouse Beach when he was attacked by a shark in the early morning. Witnesses report that Mr. Begg fought off the animal for 30 seconds. He was critically injured and tried to defend himself as he made his way to shore. Despite the attack's severity, he reached safety and called for help. Mr. Begg was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Tragically, he had to amputate his leg, but his condition has since stabilized. Flight of Franz Reichelt. In 1912, French inventor Franz Reichelt developed his own parachute design and decided to test it publicly from the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Just before his ill-fated jump, a chilling photograph captured him on the edge, ready to leap. Tragically, the parachute malfunctioned and failed to deploy. Reichelt plummeted 187 feet to his demise. His ambitious experiment aimed to revolutionize aviation safety, but it ended in a devastating crash. The haunting image immortalizes the final moments of his life. Photo before tsunami. On 26 December 2004, this haunting image was captured. It shows a wave towering over the land, reaching the height of palm trees in the foreground. Already unsettling, the reality is far more devastating. A 9.1 magnitude seaquake erupted off the coast of Sumatra Island. It created a 900-mile fault line where the Indian and Australian tectonic plates collided. The ocean floor rose by up to 40 meters, triggering a massive tsunami. Within moments, these waves began hitting Indonesia. The devastation spread rapidly to Thailand and other surrounding regions. The aftermath ruined entire communities, and the death toll was unprecedented. Keith Sapsford's final moments. On 22 February 1970, Keith Sapsford made a fateful decision. The adventurous Australian teen snuck onto the tarmac at Sydney Airport and hid in the wheel well of a Tokyo-bound plane, hoping for an escape to a new life. Not known to him, hiding in such a spot was not only a crime, but a dangerous gamble. As the plane ascended, the wheel well opened, and Keith tragically fell to his death. In a haunting twist, amateur photographer John Gilpin was at the airport that day, taking pictures. Without realizing it, he captured the precise moment Keith fell. It wasn't until a week later, when developing the film, that he discovered the devastating image. Subscriber pick. This one has to be one of the saddest photos from the horrible day that left the entire country devastated. This little boy had no idea he was posing for a photo that would commemorate the tragic moments when the planes flew into the towers. However, he wasn't the only one. Several New Yorkers have shared photos that captured the terrible events while they were completely clueless at the time. Do you think any of these people knew how this one day would impact the future of America and the rest of the world? Let us know in the comments. Christopher McCandless's last photo. On April 1992, American adventurer Christopher McCandless ventured into the rugged Alaskan wilderness with minimal supplies and a determination to live off the land. Over the course of the summer, he inhabited a remote bus, living a life free from the constraints of society. McCandless, whose story was later immortalized in the 2007 film Into the Wild, sought solitude and a deeper understanding of life's purpose. Tragically, his journey ended when his body was found in the bus nearly 4 months after he had entered the wilderness. Among his belongings, a camera was found with undeveloped film. On the final roll, a self-portrait was captured, his final image. In the photograph, McCandless holds a note that reads, "I have had a happy life and thank the Lord. Goodbye, and may God bless all." Ayano Tokumasu. This seemingly joyful photograph masks a deeply tragic story. In the foreground, a couple poses for a picture, blissfully unaware of the heartbreak unfolding behind them. In a heartbreaking twist, a young woman in red, later identified as 20-year-old Ayano Tokumasu, is on the wrong side of a safety railing at Niagara Falls. Moments later, she lost her balance and fell into the powerful swirling waters below. Days later, they recovered her body. It was a haunting reminder of the dangers that can lurk beneath seemingly perfect views. Encounter with a black bear. In 2014, Darsh Patel, age 22, was hiking in the woods with his friends when they unexpectedly came across a massive black bear. Fascinated by nature, Patel decided to film the bear's slow approach. He wanted to capture its movements through his lens. In a chilling twist, the bear suddenly attacked without warning. Despite his desperate attempts to defend himself, Patel died in the attack, kayaking through the Tasmanian Sea. Andrew's intention was clear: to kayak across the Tasman Sea from Australia to New Zealand. In January 2007, he embarked on his second attempt at this ambitious journey. With a history of successful sea expeditions, Andrew faced the immense challenge head-on. For weeks, he battled rough waters, unpredictable weather, and moments of sheer exhaustion. Yet, his determination never wavered. Capturing moments along the way, this last photo reflects his resilience, even in the face of adversity. On February 2007, a distress call came through, only 56 kilometers from his goal. A search began immediately, but days later, only his partially flooded kayak was found. To this day, his body has never been recovered. Last hike. In 2015, Jolie Kalin went for a hike at Cheaha State Park, Alabama, with her ex-boyfriend to redefine the boundaries of their relationship. The photograph is just one of many taken by Lauren Bunner, her ex-boyfriend, during their hike. We see Jolie standing on the cliff edge, utterly unaware that this was her last moment. Bunner took her life and tried to frame it as an accident. However, he was convicted of his crime in 2017 and sentenced to 52 years in prison. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more.